This week on It's Happening Out. Immigration crisis. Are we offering asylum or open to invasion? Ivanka Trump pulls the curtain back on the White House. Should we lock her up? I'd swallow that. Presented by Original Gel Shot Company. Special guest, Houston Cypress, Queering of the Everglades, Everglades Protection Advocate, Miccosukee Tribe of Florida. Lifestyle expert, Napoleon Plays. Famous trans activist, Aaron Phoenix. DJ Diva, Power Infinity. Log Cabin Republican, Joe Brookman. And our host, Al Ferguson.
Well, good evening, America, and welcome to It's Happening Out. This is our first new broadcast at our new home on Wilton Drive at Southern Nights, and we've come to a bigger location, and we're really happy to be here. We're broadcasting live tonight from Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the gayest place on planet Earth. And so we're really happy to be here. We're very excited. This is our first night in our new home and location, larger set. And remember that we remind you that we're a live show, so you're going to see everything that happens no matter what. And given that we've been sitting here about 20 minutes, I know several things that you don't know, which likely are going to be quite fun to watch live. So let me begin by telling you, we talked about immigration in our lead-in package tonight. We hope that you'll share us as we get ready to talk about the subjects that we talk about tonight. Like us on our Facebook page and share us right now on your page. We expect more than 100,000 of you will be watching the show this evening. It's going to be quite exciting. Before we come to our lead topic, we want to do headlines. We're going to prove the value of a live gay show because this is the only place in the United States of America that you can hear this in breaking news. Breaking news, in our headlines, we want to quickly begin by telling you about what's happening right now. And that is what we're calling the potential Trump collapse. Michael Cohen has pleaded guilty this afternoon to lying to Congress about plans to build a Trump Tower in Russia. It has been revealed this afternoon in the plea that the Trump Organization pursued the new building in Moscow up to 5 months before the election and up to just 3 weeks before the Republican National Convention. 24 minutes after Cohen making this plea announcement, President Trump canceled his meeting with Russian President Putin. And the timing, we think, is quite suspicious, and it's being discussed that way. And President Trump has explained he has canceled this meeting because of the aggression of Russia against the Ukraine. Also in breaking news this afternoon, President Trump's tax attorney, who has filed all of the taxes for the president and the Trump Organization for the past 22 years, had his offices in New York raided. The lawyer, Edward Burke, had his offices raided by the FBI this afternoon. All of this in conjunction, one after another. In the past 47 minutes, it has been announced that President Trump's organization, the Trump Organization, in their pursuit of the Trump Tower in Russia, had given President Putin the penthouse of $50 million for free. And of course, we're going to unwind all of that in the coming days. But big news in breaking news in our headlines. Just briefly, any comments about what you've just heard?
I'm going to laugh at it because there's a lot in context that's not said that needs to be said. So we will stay tuned.
What are those things that need to be said in context? Because I want them to know. I want to know myself.
Inquiring minds.
Inquiring minds want to know. Mm-hmm. There's so many ways to split words and what was said, what wasn't said, what is a deal and what is not a deal.
Does it scare you that the tax attorney has the FBI raid the offices today?
Yes. The legality of that, I think, will be questioned because of attorney-client privilege. And this is something I think that could go all the way to the Supreme Court
Okay,
very
that's-
easily.
Okay, that's interesting. Other observations, and we're not going to cross-examine. Other
I'll
observations.
stay tuned for later. I'll be
Well,
fine.
the other observation is that Trump, this is what we do know. Trump was on TV multiple times saying that he had no business dealings with Russia, repeatedly saying that. Now we find out that he did. Now, where this all leads, who knows? Where it all leads, I hope where it leads, but who knows? But one thing that we know for sure was that what he said and what it was a lie.
That's always been true.
No, some people still. The point is that if he cannot be trusted in this and a million other things, but I mean, this is just another example
So
of the
is
fact
there-
that he lies. And
Okay, so
and if
is there a Trump Tower? Was there a deal?
No, there wasn't a deal.
There wasn't
not
a
what,
deal.
That was not the point I brought up. I said, but what there was business dealings.
No,
right?
that's
Yes.
not what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
We have no business interest in
Joe, I'm
That's a
curious.
lie.
For
That-
sure.
that part isn't.
Yeah,
because it
him
was-
trying to him dealing with the Russian
if you don't
government.
have a deal and you don't have a tower,
Your point's
then
heard.
you have no business
Your
interest.
point's heard.
Yeah, you do.
But Donald Jr. went before Congress and said that there was no communication or no business opportunities being explored or existed in Russia. If he said that in front of Congress,
That is questionable.
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, okay,
Literally, when I hear
No
Trump
question, but
Tower,
that's a lie.
yeah.
Sounds like my ex trying to
I
claim they
think
were
of like
Yeah.
Rapunzel with
There's
her
lots of ways to split the hair.
Ain't no
Sorry.
lots of
Long
ways.
hair,
All right.
but I
Lots
think
of
of,
ways.
You-
a lie is a lie,
Rapunzel
Hank.
from the fictional
Clearly,
tower.
you can see why this is breaking
to its
news,
escape.
and we're very proud. I'm quite sure we're the only gay organization in the United States breaking this conversation about what's going on
That
right
is very
now.
true.
We want to start with our first topic of discussion. Of course, it's the number one news item, except for what's happening on Russia and Trump right now, going on about our immigration crisis. And a lot has happened through the Thanksgiving weekend since we were on the air last. Before we do that, let's begin with this video introduction about immigration.
There is growing tension this week as the U.S. closes the busiest border crossing in the Western Hemisphere and demands Mexico handle emergency needs for immigrants trying to enter from Mexico. So far, Mexico has not responded. Illegal immigration has actually been declining across the southern border in the last decade. Customs and Border Protection is now authorized to use both rubber bullets and live ammunition to deter border crossing.
Going on our southern border are quite significant. Military deadly force has been approved by the U.S. government. You have seen the pictures of the tear gassing that took place just 4 days ago. President Trump has vowed that on next Friday, he will shut down the U.S. government if $5 billion has not been committed to the wall.
For the 8th time.
We are clearly in an immigration crisis. So, what do we think about what's going on in immigration?
We have to. I'm going to start honestly with a little prop, an aid. Hopefully you can see this out here. My point is, at what cost? That's the point. In 1850, the United States had a population of 22 million. 2.2 million, or 10%, were immigrants. In 2018, the U.S. has 350 million people in the United States. 44 million, or 13%, are immigrants. Guatemala has 17.7 million, and 1.7 million Guatemalans, 10%, are in the U.S. The point being, South America has 430 million, Latin America has 250 million. It costs the U.S. government per person or family $80,000 to $250,000 per person or family for someone coming into the United States. At what point can we afford 650
So your point
million
is it's
people
just too expensive.
coming into the
That's
United
your
States?
point.
That's
right?
my point.
What does everybody else think?
Well, I think it's interesting that you bring up the 1850s and because the United States foreign policy in Latin America and the military intervention specifically in Latin America over the last 200 years and especially in the last 60 or so since the Cold, 70 or so since the Cold War, has been one of the arguably biggest contributors to the exact problems, the exact violence, the tyranny, the oppressive governments that these people are fleeing in the first place. So our intervention in these Latin American countries has largely contributed to the very thing that they're fleeing, and then they flee to come here and to escape that violence, and we turn around and basically tell them, no, you can't come here.
So are you telling me-
We've pushed these people into a place where they have nowhere to go, and we're turning them away.
then we sell
So
to
you're
Saudi
telling me
Arabia.
10 to 15,000 people coming to our border are all suffering political persecution? Because
yeah.
that's the criteria.
I mean, to
that's
varying-
the criteria
to varying-
for asylum.
to varying degrees,
It is
but-
not because I'm poor. It is not because I don't have a job. It is not because I need a better life
A
for
lot
my
of these
family.
people are working. They're there, and in fact,
Look.
asking for opportunities to work, but we are not giving it to them. Trump
But
wait,
those
I want to
flat out
interrupt.
closed
I want to
their
interrupt a moment. Wait, I
their
wanna-
governments are responsible.
Wait, I want to interrupt a moment. Let's assume his point is correct. If a very significant number of these people that we just saw in the video package are trying to break through the southern border wall at San Diego, and they're here because they want more, job, money, whatever, would it still be legitimate under the standard that you just established? That it would be okay for them to still try to get in because they're economically motivated as opposed to politically?
Honestly, yeah, I don't see why not. Considering the fact that they are going about it the legal way, the right way. Everyone talks about, illegal immigrants are the problem. Well, these people are here legally seeking a way in. Now, if they come in and they're seeking asylum or whatever the case is, and an immigration judge says, no, your case is not valid, we're going to throw it out, then that's fine. That's one thing. And I can have my agreement or disagreement or my feelies however I want about that. But instead of sending in more immigration judges or training more immigration judges for that matter, we're just shutting down the border. And we're leaving thousands of people who are now homeless because a lot of them have given up everything that they had
Or
before.
worse.
Right,
Well,
exactly.
okay.
And we're leaving these
Oppressed,
people in
physically,
a state where they are
aggressively.
completely helpless and completely frustrated and desperate.
Yes,
Why are we
but
doing
they've
this?
taken actions, okay? They could have gone to their embassy in their home country and applied to become an immigrant to the United States. They chose not to do that. They chose to, come up and rush the border, throw rocks, throw bottles
now here's the
to
thing.
try and cross.
See, now here's the
so
thing
that
about
if they
that.
get
If they've not
in,
done that, it doesn't matter. You're still forced into the same persecution. It doesn't matter what you do other
Listen,
than
Martin
being
Luther
what
King-
persecution?
Martin
The
Luther King
American
said,
dream is to come here and be able to do more than what
So
you can do in
can-
your own country.
so you-
we
can
don't
you-
have that anymore. That's not what the American
Are we
dream
going to
is.
allow 680 million people from South America and Latin America just to say, oh God, okay, I can't do it here anymore. I'm just going to go to the United States. We cannot afford that.
Maybe we can't.
And that's
we can't
not
afford a
what's
lot of
being
things,
done,
then
but
we have to
again,
change
we're
what
not
the
sending
American
immigration
dream is.
judges.
15,000 people
Thoughts?
at one clip? That's unreasonable.
Well, thank goodness America could have afforded when your descendants or when your family came over from
Hello.
wherever they came over.
Here.
But
I'll
for the
tell
grace
you.
of God,
I'll tell you.
but
Nope,
for
nope.
but for
let
the
him
grace of
finish.
God, but for the grace of God, you were born when you were born, and your situation is what it is. America is still the land of the free, and we tell people to
Maybe.
give us you're poor, you're tired, you're this, you're that. But now what your argument is, well, now that should all be thrown out because we can't afford it. So we should just take down the Statue of Liberty because we can't afford her either.
Well,
That doesn't
And
need to make any sense to me.
I don't agree with Joe on most
Let me
points,
tell you,
but
I'd like to find common ground with you on this. Last year became a citizen. Oh, and it was a tedious task,
Yes.
especially after an arrest.
Wait, how
that
did we make that mistake?
what?
Of making you a citizen?
The same way we made the mistake of
This
electing
one.
Donald Trump, I guess.
Oh.
So last year I became a citizen, and it was even harder than most people's journey because
Yeah.
I didn't just have to go through the natural immigration process. I had to fight deportation because I had an arrest on my record, and I had to fight deportation. Then once I fought deportation, that put me on the path to citizenship. So I appreciate more than anybody that there is a legal and right way to do it. And I don't appreciate somebody jumping in front and not going through the channels that I went through. I don't think that's fair.
Even if they're going to
But
be
those channels
physically
have been shut
killed
down.
because of it.
No. I do believe in asylum. What I'm
sorry,
saying,
David,
I do believe in asylum. So I don't have any problem with that. I really don't have any problem with that. What I have a problem with is the closed-minded, us getting to a point where we're closed-minded
Meaning what asylum means.
to anybody coming.
I'm curious.
I
all.
don't think
Because
this
your
is
argument
being
is that it's-
closed-minded. I think it's saying, look, we have to stop entry and have people come in an orderly fashion. Rushing the border or working to find a way to put your
I have
toe
to
across
tell
the
you,
border.
Joe,
so
while I
that
don't
you-
completely agree with your observation, the video that I watched in the last week, I do have some sympathy to that observation. It feels like it's a swarm building. And I
Yes.
know the number is very small.
Yeah, and Martin Luther King said that the riots are the language of the unheard.
Yeah.
And what you don't see in this video is that this all started, this swarm, as you put it, started with peaceful protests. Of course, you never see that part on TV because it's not newsworthy, it's not exciting. As somebody who has organized peaceful protests, Power had the privilege and honor of standing next to me in one of them. I can tell you, I know a little bit about that. You don't get to the news if you're holding a peaceful demonstration. What makes it to the news is the fraction of people. And remember, there are thousands of people in
it's
uh,
this
a terrific
area,
point.
and
Terrific
a
point.
few hundred are, yes, absolutely. At this point, they're fed up. They've lost it. They've thrown some rocks. They've
So-
thrown some bottles, but you're not
please.
going to pull any sympathy out of me, really, for the destruction of property over the destruction of
I
people.
want to change the subject just slightly, very, very briefly. Do you think that we will shut the government down next Friday for the wall?
I
Do
think
you
Trump will look for any excuse. to
No,
shut
I
down.
mean, do you
we
just
do when FDR
wait?
goes out
Just
of
yes or
business,
no.
so-
That's
Yes.
all I want to hear. Do you
Yes.
think the government's going to shut down next
Absolutely.
Friday?
Shut down for any reason.
So
But the
everyone
question is-
on the panel thinks yes. Let me ask a reminder question in terms of for whatever reason this is going on. Does everybody remember the election campaign that Mexico was going to pay for the wall? What happened to that?
It was a lie.
Ridiculous.
Just like
I'm
it's
curious.
not Russia.
That was
There's lots of ways to do that. I don't want to get into that part of it.
Okay.
But the fact is, no, because we need to be able to protect our border. And unless we have a way to stop people coming across the border, right, at a moment's notice. So I lived in Sierra Vista, Arizona, down on the border with Mexico, okay? And down there, you would have people come through your yard at night, stop over, leave backpacks. You could not get the police to come to your property unless you had 30 or 40 people passing through.
I
At
have
that
that Boca
point,
Raton now. Like legitimately. I'm just gonna say that. That's not Florida.
Okay, but still, the fact is that is it puts your property at risk. It puts your home at point. My home was robbed. I had to sell the house and leave because I could not leave the house
Then why
alone.
hasn't Trump been willing to work with Congress on actual
He
immigration
actually
reform?
has. He's offered.
He
has.
hasn't,
Yes,
though.
he has. He's put forward 1.8 million DACA recipients to be able to remain in the United States.
So one flight to Mar-a-Lago.
Because he had
that's-
no
that's fine.
choice. But
No, he's the one that proposed that. The Democrats thought the best they could do was get 800,000.
Well, okay, hold.
So
Because I know you
why?
don't wrap it up before I.
I'm getting
can
ready
say
to wrap it up.
You know,
Yes, we
we are
are.
acting like we had no choice, but to use the means that we used at the
Exactly.
border, the tear gas and all that stuff. But mind you, we knew damn well this caravan was coming for weeks. Okay, so we could have had buses and agents ready to process, applications
Let alone de-escalation
in a very orderly way. And I'll tell you one thing: if it was Norwegians coming across that border,
Hello.
trust me when I tell you, Donald Trump himself would have been at the border piggybacking bitches over to the United States. Trust me on that.
Very good. All right,
A ballistic
we're
missile
going to
versus
wait.
that.
We're going to bring the immigration conversation on that soundbite to an end. Immigration is going to be a big deal next Friday. We all unanimously think for different reasons, the government's going to close. We're obviously going to watch this closely, and immigration is going to continue to be a big
I know.
Al, you
topic.
seem a little
Democrats don't want
overwhelmed.
1.8
I am.
million recipients in.
It
Go
really
figure.
is such.
A lot of progression.
You know, we
It's a heavy
we
topic.
do make jokes, but this is a dramatic issue of fundamental Americanism. That's what's in front of us.
Humanism.
And humanism, and there are very good arguments, frankly, on both sides. And I really appreciate the idea that we've got to find some common ground here if we're going to try to solve any issues. Let's move on. I'm ready to play a game. Let's play a game called This or That, and it's a fun game. It's a game that makes our It's Happening outcast make a choice, and we will assume that they're not going to read my paper in front of me because I'm the only one that know these questions. All right, everybody ready to play This or That?
Absolutely.
All right, here we
Ready as we'll
go.
ever be.
Question number 1 of This or That. What are we dreaming of? This, a white Christmas,
Oh my gosh.
or that, a warm Christmas?
Oh my gosh, that did not register to me the same way that
Yeah,
you
after all this
warm
racism
Christmas.
talk,
I
it sounded a
totally
little
did.
odd.
I'm staying here and doing Christmas again at Pineapple Point.
Are you? Pineapple. Oh,
Pineapple Point.
That's great. Guest house here in
Yes.
South Florida.
I'm from Jersey. I've had enough white Christmases. I'm ready for warmth for literally the rest of my
Okay.
life.
Right?
As long as it's warm and not hot.
Like, warm, but not hot.
Yes.
Okay.
Y'all are wrong. Everyone loves snow. It is the equalizer of the world. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
A white Christmas, and
Snow.
mine
meaning
is
snow.
warm.
It's not the racialism that I also heard from before.
Mine is warm because I'm
I
going to
was thinking-
spend Christmas in Cuba.
had a
So I'm
feeling.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
Oh,
There
look
we
at
go.
you.
Question number 2, this or that. Great gay movies. This, The Wizard of Oz, or that, Steel Magnolias.
Oh.
Wizard of Oz. I grew up on Wizard of Oz.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
All right. What's your favorite character in The Wizard of Oz?
The Cowardly Lion, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This
And
or
not 'cause
that?
he's a
Wizard of-
pussy
Wizard of
either.
Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
I played the Scarecrow in high school.
Did you?
Yes.
You were scary
was-
all the way back in
I
high
was-
school.
It was
Scared.
seniors.
Scared.
I was valedictorian,
Republican.
and they thought it was really, really funny to say I haven't got a brain.
Ah, you were valedictorian, so you were oppressing people all the way back then, huh?
That's exactly right.
All right, got it. Thank you for recognizing the joke. This or that?
It's gotta. It's. I'm
Wizard of Oz, Steel Magnolias.
No Steel Magnolias. I am all for Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
That is the dream of all fantasy. It is literally Technicolor in a world of black and white.
Okay, it is.
that.
And
Steel Magnolias.
so really,
Yes.
And which was your favorite
Why?
character in Steel Magnolias?
I would say, what's the name? Julia Roberts.
She died.
Yeah.
Spoiler. by the
Now
way.
I'm liking you a lot
Oh
more.
my God! Spoiler! Spoiler!
All right, Steel Magnolias
all.
for me too. And
And who was your
Weezer-
favorite?
Oh, Weezer, for sure. Hello, come on. All right, question number 3, this or that.
later.
How do we wake up in the morning? This, Dunkin' Donuts,
Horny.
or that, Starbucks?
I wake up like this.
Really? All right,
For me, Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin', and is that because of the donuts?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
You know they're dropping that out of their name.
As
They're
long as
dropping
as long as they're
donuts
not
out of
dropping
the
the
name.
Because
donuts.
they're getting gluten free.
It's because the gay guys won't eat there.
That's because they're having gluten free brownies.
Except at night after the bar closes.
That's right. This or that?
I go with Wawa, honestly, but I'm going to have to say donuts, Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Starbucks is
Okay,
gross.
all right. We have a joke, by the way, and I'm gonna bitch slap him because Wawa. This game is this or that.
Oh, you act like I'm the only one who
You're the
doesn't.
Yeah,
oh
that
wait, no, you're not.
Hold on now.
Okay, this or that.
Oh, I'm going to do it to you. McDonald's. Because
No.
anybody that knows me knows I start with McDonald's.
No.
Otherwise, it's Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
You don't get this figure going to either of those places.
I like my blue
God.
berry shake.
Choose.
I can't eat anything at either. It doesn't matter.
Choose.
I
Choose.
whatever. Dunkin' Donuts has better coffee. They
All right.
both have no food I can
All right.
eat. Zero.
If you
So
continue,
Starbucks being so gay friendly and so progressive, and none
and
of us like
nobody's
Starbucks.
picks it
They
exactly.
can't
All right.
serve food for
This
me.
is this or that. Question number 4. The technology of music. How do you listen to it? This, headphones, or that, earbuds?
Oh, earbuds. Which
Earbuds?
is actually unhygienic, but it sounds better.
Okay.
Earbuds.
Earbuds.
I like headphones. That hurts my ears to have earbuds.
Well, I'm a DJ, so most of the time I'm listening to the music is through headphones.
Headphones. Let me tell you, I was in the gym this morning 5th anniversary of being back in the gym and the weight life,
5 days.
you know, and then 5 years of the process of me doing it.
Awesome.
I'm in Wilton Manors,
Good
Fort
job.
Lauderdale. 200 gay guys, and like 9 out of every 10 have headphones or earbuds on.
But they're
I've
all
never
off.
seen anything
They're
like
all off
it.
because they're looking at everyone else.
It's
That's what this,
very-
this
I can't work out without
This or that. Question number
Stick it
5.
in.
The
Don't
greatest
fucking it.
American gay city. This, New York, or that, Los Angeles?
New York. Sorry, you're all wrong if you say anything else.
New York.
New York.
New York?
I've only been to New York. I'm going to have to go with that.
Everybody selects New York. So let's play a bonus. Greatest American gay city. New York, this, or that, San Francisco.
Greatest
San
American gay
Francisco.
city?
Yep.
San Francisco.
Well, I
Writing
would have
down
said
my
San
list.
Francisco, but they don't have bathhouses anymore, so New York.
I'm going with New York for that reason then.
New York? You've been swayed? All right. New York, are you sticking with it?
Well, you said city, and therefore only New York is a city. Or New
Okay.
York.
All right. Question number 6, last one of this or that. What do we look for in a man? This, upper body, or that, lower body?
What do you mean, lower body meaning like penis?
There's no parameter.
ass?
This or that. Let's play our game. This or that, upper body or lower body?
Man,
Upper body.
Upper body,
Lower
lower body,
I'm going with big dick energy, lower.
lower body,
Energy and big dick are not.
And I'm actually a leg man, so lower body.
lower body. All right. So the
Every
majority,
day is leg day.
I select lower body also. So the majority of our hosts select lower body. So let's play bonus.
that a Republican
This or that. This or that. Bonus.
Okay,
This
bonus.
in the lower body. This dick or that ass.
Oh, dick.
Ass.
No question.
Tits and ass. Oh my god, I'm
All right, can I get you to move
Absolutely.
a little faster?
Yeah.
Penis. I like it. Penis. Dick. That means dick, right?
And
Dick.
dick.
So did we just call
dick.
out who's the top and who's the bottom at the
Yeah,
table?
I
Is
think
that how that
we
works?
did, because I was going to say ass.
I'm sorry if you like penis and you're a gay
Okay,
guy, you're
all
a
right.
gay
Is that the
guy.
All
Republican
right, that's
thing?
our game, this or that.
Or
Right,
Republicans or
exactly.
tops?
All right, next thing we want to talk about is a new segment we're going to do in every show between now and the end of June 2019. Am I being optimistic that we'll be on the air that long, perhaps?
No, we will be.
All right.
We're important.
We call our segment The March to Stonewall. Now, Stonewall, the 50th anniversary of Stonewall and World Pride, will be held on June 30th, 2019. We're showing you a slide interesting to all of us. Our first salute of the March to Stonewall is Hugh Hefner, the editor, publisher, and initiating genius behind Playboy magazine. He wrote an article in 1955 basically theorizing what would the world be like when gay becomes the majority of Americans in American society. And he speculated that gay would discriminate against straight people. And he theorized that in his article in 1955 in Playboy. He continues the point to go, of course that's not what's going to happen, but the discrimination is terrible. And he makes the link that a straight-dominated society in America is equally bad in discriminating against gay people. 1955, absolute brilliance. In that same article, he suggested that gay marriage should absolutely be accepted in America in 1955. Amazing.
Amazing.
That is a march to Stonewall. What do you think about Hugh Hefner?
Just firstly, shout out. This is never a time that I've ever made this correlation, but Hugh Hefner, Stan Lee, you have a combination of what you've done together. Stanley, thank you. But also just what you've done for the American people in terms of understanding sexuality is something that non-fiction, non-sexuality writers could not do, so thank you. But in terms of Hugh Hefner, that is just a remarkable statement. I mean, who could not be happy by that? What it feels like 100 years ago, but it's just like 60 years ago. I know you were there, I know you were fighting there, but I'm just saying that is a remarkable thing to have had happen at that point. Who could have imagined that at that point?
More than 50 years before gay marriage was actually passed.
You're talking about 2019 and the Stonewall riots, and that was something that he said in 1955? That's crazy.
I would just love to know at that time what it was that prompted him to write this article? Who was it he knew?
Well, he
Who was-
proved that his sexual openness of Playboy magazine
Yeah.
had nothing to do with the sexuality of heterosexual intercourse.
Sexuality as a whole, because it's part of our humanity. Again, it's what we are as humans. It doesn't matter if you're gay or straight or whatever in between.
Right. Any final thoughts, Hugh Hefner?
I think that about
All right.
covers it.
Well, we're going to do this every week. Our March to Stonewall. We salute World Pride, New York Pride, June 30th, 2019. Our March to Stonewall. It's really the heart of our gay culture. We're going to play a new game now called Truth or Consequences,
also
and we
a
think
riot, by the way.
you're going to like it. We have a guest coming aboard. Sean Palacios is going to be here in a moment, or a guest. And let me begin by telling you what happens on Truth or Consequences.
Let's play It's Happening Out, Truth or Consequences, as we try to fool our audience on what is the real tea from today's hottest topics and quotes from famous people. So let's play Truth or Consequences.
All right, and we're back. This is going to be a fun game. We've asked an audience participant. It happens to be Sean Palacios. If you're not familiar with South Florida, Sean Palacios is very famous in this community. He is the host of a really good television show here called Hotspots Live. Welcome, Sean. We're really happy
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
Excuse me, let me give him a proper introduction because that is my sister. That is a club icon. Forget about just the local whatever. That is a national icon. I live for you, aka
My
Kitty
goodness.
Meow.
Kitty Meow. See, I was giving you the opportunity.
Kitty was a hero of mine long before I ever met Sean.
Oh, I love you guys. Thank you very much.
All right, so we're going to play Truth or Consequences. Let me tell you, you're going to stay with us?
Yes, I am.
We're going to play Truth or Consequences. Now, here's what happens. Celebrities say the stupidest things. Have you heard that? They do. Wait, some of our hosts at It's Happening Out say the no, wait, never mind. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a celebrity, and I'm going to read a question about them. And each of our hosts is going to read an answer. And Sean is going to try to detect which is the real answer, because three of them are completely made up and fake. Understand the rules?
Absolutely
It's
do.
going to be fun. Here we go. Our first question comes from, of course, Donald Trump. Donald Trump has announced he will run for re-election in 2020. Why does the president think he could be elected to a second term? Power, what did President Trump say?
To be blunt, people would vote for me. They just would. Why? Maybe because I'm so good looking.
That sounds more like a power answer. Really.
President Trump said what, Aaron?
You can bet liberal media and the fake news media like CNN will push for some limp-wristed Mexican snowflake, probably illegal, to run against me. And I believe the intelligent, real Americans in this country are way too smart to fall for that.
I think that there's a great chance that he did say that. Donald Trump said, Napoleon, sorry.
Power's over there.
Napoleon.
I've never gotten that confused before. So I'll try to do my best impersonation. The reason that I know that I have the best power toward this is that I am, quotation. The reason that I know I have the best power toward this is that I know that I will keep our country safe and that it is politically accurate.
Politically accurate, okay. And Donald Trump said,
We are winning. Are you tired of winning? We will win 2020.
all right. So there's the four answers for Donald Trump. Sean, Kitty Meow, which one
Yes.
is the real answer?
I'm more inclined to believe that because we have a Trump sympathizer.
Sympathizer, I love that.
Is it yours? Is it
Wait,
true?
I'm going to reveal in a minute.
okay.
So your
Sorry.
choice is Joe's quote. All
Yes.
right. We're going to show you a slide right now, and our real answer is going to say the real answer.
To be blunt, people would vote for me. They just would. Why? Maybe because I'm so good looking.
Oh my goodness.
And Donald Trump said that. Yeah. All right. I just want to point out that Sean is 0. All right. Now, question number 2. It comes from none other than Kanye West. We had to get a black one in. Come on. Had to get a black one. Kanye
All
West.
tokenism.
I know. I'm racist. I'm an older white guy.
We're here to
I got it.
unpack.
Yeah, exactly.
You are not racist.
All right,
That's
I am
only
not.
physically
Right.
black.
Kanye West. Kanye West had the strangest press conference recently in the Oval Office. What has been Kanye's most insightful thoughts? Power, what did Kanye say?
Kanye West said, blacks were better off on the plantation. When I become president, I'm bringing the plantations back.
Kanye said, Aaron?
Listen, a black man with mental health issues is a favorite target for jokes for any political party. So I'm going to have haters whether I support the president or not.
Ooh.
And to those haters I say, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
And Kanye said, Napoleon?
Kanye doesn't care about other people.
All right.
Did you make that up?
Kanye said, Joe?
Well, I spend more time watching porn and praying about it afterwards. Then I'll put on some Louis Vuitton and leave.
Oh, come on now. All right. There's the four answers. Four answers. Sean, which is the real Kanye West quote?
I am going to go with Power's answer.
Power's answer. All right. Now, we're not sure yet. We're putting up a slide right now to tell you. And the person who is really the quote from Kanye West says it now.
Well, I spend more time watching porn and praying about it afterwards. Then I'll put on some Louis Vuitton and leave.
It's funny to me, after Power's introduction of this mega circuit star.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. 0-4-0. All right. Final question. Question number 3. Which celebrity truth or consequences? Celebrities say the dumbest things. Which is the real celebrity quote and therefore the dumbest? Power, the celebrity quote is?
This one comes from Paris Hilton. I could never work in a sperm bank. I would get fired for drinking on the job.
My goodness. Celebrity quote, Aaron?
Caitlyn Jenner. I know Trump hasn't always been the greatest on equality, or said the nicest stuff about minorities like the blacks or that disabled guy. But he's crossed too many lines now. If he even would discriminate against trans people who are beautiful and rich and even voted for him, like myself.
Oh my goodness. All right. Celebrity quote, Napoleon.
This was Suzanne Summers, actually, about 20 years ago. If you are ready to work, it doesn't matter how hard you work out, you're ready to go.
All right. And celebrity quote, Joe.
My favorite Madonna. I want to be like Gandhi and Martin Luther King and John Lennon, but I want to stay alive.
Oh my God. All right, Sean, this is your last chance to be successful in front of this national audience. You're failing miserably.
I am so screwed.
Your choice is, which is the real
Could be
celebrity
literally.
quote?
Okay. I gotta go with Joe.
With Madonna. Let's see, the slide's coming up, and our real quote is going to be quoted now.
I want to be like Gandhi and Martin Luther King and John Lennon, but I want to stay alive.
Congratulations, Sean Palacios, kidding me out.
You got the consolation prize.
You got the consolation prize. And it's a real shame because the winner of this game has to get 2 of the 3 right, and if they do, they get a $5,000 bar tab at Southern Night.
Do I get $5,000 for
And
real?
no, you lost.
You lost.
God,
Andrew,
here I am.
Andrew, the
Okay.
manager at Southern Nights.
So as a result, he's buying.
We salute you and thank you, Southern Nights. And you're off the hook this week for $5,000. in your
Thank you,
bar.
guys.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
All right. Before we move on, we want to do a short commercial and tell you about someplace really a lot of fun here in Fort Lauderdale. and we thank the Ramada, Oakland Park Inn. If you come to Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, it's a great location, and we're going to tell you about something special that's happening there later in the show. As you can see, we've had a quick change, and we would like to welcome a special guest. This is Houston Cypress, and Houston is an Everglades protection advocate and a member of the Miccosukee tribe. And for guests in the U.S. and around the world, in Florida, we have two predominant tribes, the Seminoles and the Miccosukees. So, Houston, welcome to It's Happening Out.
Pleasure to be here with y'all. Thank you. Honored. Yeah.
We're very excited. I was very excited to meet Houston. I had dinner with him. We went on a date, and we went out drinking and whoring. Or no, we didn't.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you had to go through all of that to get on the show.
It was quite an right, exactly. It was quite exciting because Houston has been developing this concept in the Miccosukees and the Native American tribes in Florida, especially connected with the Everglades, called Queering the Everglades. And Houston is gay. And to be honest with you, before we even start, I am a native Floridian. I have been to the Miccosukee reservation many times, many of the Seminole products in Florida. And I could honestly say, before I met Houston, I never thought about Native American in Florida in terms of gay. And I realized, oh my gosh, how terrible on my part, maybe discriminatory in and of itself. So that's why we're really glad you're here, Houston. Tell us a little bit about the Queering of the Everglades and what you do for the Miccosukees.
Sure. Well, Al, I think Queering the Everglades is like my next project in terms of Everglades advocacy. I not only want to invite the queer community, the LGBT folks to come out and explore these places and establish that connection, but I think that in establishing that connection, that there's so much more that we can articulate. Not only is there joy to be found there, not only is there healing to be found there, but also community and adventure. And the mystery is still alive. I think that all of that ties into Queering the Everglades.
One of the things that I was fascinated in the concept is explain to us as concisely as you can the spiritual nature in the Miccosukee and Native culture about accepting both gay and straight in the same life. Explain that to us.
Sure. Well, you have to, it just comes down to being able to embrace everybody in our families. We all have talents and skills. And so it's this idea of like the Two-Spirit movement and that revitalization that our communities are working on is so vital because we're trying to recover things that have been hidden, things that have been lost, or things that have been, to put it in bluntly, has been beaten out of us because of history and genocide and these policies that you all have been exploring just a few minutes ago. So really it's about restoring that place of honor that we continue to hold.
Do you call it a tribe? Okay, your tribe, the Miccosukee tribe, Native American tribe, here in Florida, in the Everglades, do they embrace queer, or whatever the term would be in their tribe?
Well, I appreciate you asking that because it kind of illuminates a little bit of the struggle that I've had to grow through in my own life. Like coming out as a gay person was very difficult for me in my community because my community doesn't happen to be one of those tribes that embraces gay or queer or two-spirit people. It's so different all across Turtle Island. Like depending on some communities, it's accepted, it's honored and embraced. Others are tolerated and others are rejected. So like I happen to come from a community that didn't have those roles. So it was very difficult for me growing up. And I think that that's why it's so important for me to be visible, to be create safe spaces for people in my community.
Fantastic.
You said Two-Spirit twice. What exactly does that mean?
Oh, my bad. So like,
I just make sure, I don't fully, I can conceive, but what does that mean?
Cool, I appreciate you asking. It's a term that indigenous communities have started to embrace like in the past, I would say like 30 years or so. And it's about remembering the fact that we have gender diversity in our communities. Okay. So like the people that would study and record these histories use problematic language. So words like berdache, that we're not necessarily honoring the complete roles that we have in our communities. So the people were getting rid of that old language that was disrespectful and embracing new words that honors the totality of who we are. So people that are blending masculine and feminine energies, that are crossing roles and crossing boundaries, that are the intermediaries between not only the genders, but the spirit and the physical. So it's about those roles that we play in our communities.
Can I just say, first of all, I love your nails. Mine are shamefully not freshly done, and I'm embarrassed. I love your nails.
Thank you.
And I feel so incredibly, like I could cry a little right now. I feel so affirmed and seen right now.
And that is so genuine. I
identify as non-binary or genderqueer or gender fluid, and that means that resonates so much with me, the power of the divine feminine and the divine masculine in one being. And it's something that's so not understood by a lot of people. And just, thank you so much for being that representative.
I just want to follow up on the two-spirit philosophy, and I was moved by this when we had dinner. Many native tribes around the United States really openly and very forcefully even embrace the idea of gay involvement in their communities and cherish and honor it. Is that correct?
Yeah, indeed. And I was just reading this article by a Dene scholar. Her name is Trudy Jackson. And she was just telling us in this article that this Red Power movement, right around the same time that Stonewall started, like we're looking at indigenous leadership that are trans, that are non-binary, and these folks are the ones that have led the way in terms of social justice back in the 60s, in the 70s, and people that I'm finding inspiration for my environmental advocacy today are those people that are gender diverse, that are fabulous, and that are fierce.
Absolutely fantastic observation. Houston, I want to share something. In the Facebook scrolls that are going on in our conversation right now, somebody has just posted, Houston Cypress. Wow, he's rad as fuck. I love that.
Thank you.
Love that.
Thank you.
Other thoughts about what's going on in Native? Did all of you think about the gay community in Native
Never
American?
Never growing up. And it's interesting that you said that your tribe or community was not one of those that were embracing of the gay community. So was there any other like you, or were you totally alone? As far as are there any other gays in
the Miccosukee?
Yeah,
there was only a handful of people that were out, and I know that there's quite a few other people that are gay or LGBTQ in my community, but they have had to be closeted for safety purposes. But I think that that was some dangers and threats that they were facing in a previous generation that we can kind of shake off today. So I'm hoping that people can find their authenticity, can contribute power, and contribute to the communities that we are a part of, that we have always contributed to.
I think it's very brave of you, very, very brave
absolutely.
of you or anybody that is such a minority, and it's easier to kind of hide and and not be yourself. Such bravery, and I really applaud you for
Houston is, I agree with that. Houston is a real leader among Native American advocacy for queering the Everglades, which I love. We're talking about expanding this to maybe even focus on a documentary about the gay community and moving towards Stonewall of how important Native American culture is for the gay community. And I think it would be absolutely fantastic. Houston, I should also say, speaks and runs many different kinds of artistic programs. He's a writer, he's an artist, and he speaks frequently at events at colleges and universities about the gay experience in Native American
You're
culture.
like who I want to be when I grow up.
Thank you.
And being that, my indigenous roots go back to Chicano culture.
Okay.
But again, similarly, that machismo kind of overtakes the culture and doesn't allow for gender fluidity at all. So it's definitely a different path, but same, very similar struggle.
Dramatic progress, as Houston would say, is being made in Florida, in the Everglades community. The Miccosukee is a smaller tribe than the Seminoles. The Miccosukee have casino gaming in South Florida. the Seminoles have gigantic gaming in the state of Florida, and you around the United States in terms of gaming, you probably don't know this, but the entire Hard Rock chain is owned by the Seminole tribe of Florida. And the casinos and the hotels and the restaurants, etc., and the franchise branding are all Native American.
And I believe in Florida now we can vote to give back the rights to not just government, but to the people to vote for where that goes, that money goes. But question to you for the viewers, what can we do? I'm not informed enough. What can I do to help? What can other people do to help and understand this situation that is just supportive, particularly meeting you in person and just understanding, but anyone?
You know, I think there's opportunities to visit. Please do. And there's opportunities also to stay away. Please do. And I say it like that because, like, look, come check out our festivals, come to our invitations when we have events and parties and things like that. But there's also like special moments when we have to pray. When we need privacy, like special times of the year. So that's when you stay away. But like, come on over, come visit, come explore. Let's go queer the Everglades together. Come on, I need you.
Let's go queer
We
the
drive through it
Everglades
every
together.
week.
Yeah,
Exactly.
come
You
through.
cross through the Everglades.
Come on, let's do it.
And
It's
right by the
beautiful, too.
Miccosukee Reservation. It's fantastic. Houston, we thank you very much for
Appreciate
being
you.
It's Happening Out. We have a great commitment to gay culture, and I really think this segment allows us to expand the discussion of gay culture in the United States. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
And I think we have more. Before we ask Houston to stay seated for a moment, we're going to show you a video package that we played. Now, I had another great special opportunity in this last week over the Thanksgiving holiday. President Trump allowed me to visit the White House one more time and to get some questions in for our viewers.
Just had a busy week, didn't you?
It is now the Yellow House, by the way.
And that's right. And we call this segment Napoleon Plays Mr. President. Mr. President, thank you very much for meeting us. Again, I'm Al from It's Happening Out. It's a rare opportunity that you're giving us to allow the gay community to ask you some questions. You know, our viewers at It's Happening Out have many questions that they would like you to answer, and we're going to talk about some of those today. So thank you very much. Very excited to be here at the White House. First, Mr. President, was your experience doing The Apprentice a good one?
All of the women on The Apprentice flirted with me, consciously or unconsciously. That's to be expected.
Mr. President, your daughter Ivanka is a very beautiful woman. Are you proud of her?
I've said if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Mr. President, Bette Midler recently was very critical of you on Facebook. How do you respond?
While Bette Midler is an extremely unattractive woman, I refuse to say that because I always insist on being politically correct.
Mr. President, Viagra recently became a generic pill, making it affordable to millions of American men. Are you happy about that?
I think Viagra is wonderful if you need it. If you've had medical issues, if you've had surgery, I've just never needed it. Frankly, I wouldn't mind if there were an anti-Viagra, something with the opposite effect. I'm not bragging, I'm just lucky. I don't need it. I've always said if you need Viagra, you're probably with the wrong girl.
Mr. President, over the years, you have had interesting relationships with women. What's your secret?
My fingers are long and beautiful, as has been well documented are various other parts of my body. Boop.
Well, as you can say, Napoleon plays Mr. Keep Your Hand Away from Me, sir. Napoleon Place, Mr. President, very well. Congratulations to you, sir.
I don't know if that's a compliment.
It was
Honor
really
that.
fun for you and an honor for you, not so much for me.
It is not an honor.
I have filed an HR complaint against you. All right, as we move on from the segment, we want to tell you really quickly about an event that we're going to host starting next Sunday, December 9th. It's called Return to Marlin Beach. It is going to be Fort Lauderdale's first weekly gay pool party with the 1970s theme of Where the Boys Are in the famous Marlin Beach Resort. We're going to tell you more details about it, and you'll see it at the It's Happening Out website just shortly. What do y'all think about pool parties? Do
Well,
you like
first
them?
off, if you're not in Florida, you can be jealous, because yes, we can have pool parties in December. That's
And
amazing.
January. Exactly right.
That's my favorite thing about Florida.
Come visit us. We want you here.
That's right. Everybody around the country, in Europe, in Australia, come to South Florida, get on a cruise, and stay the weekend before or after, and come to this pool
My
party.
number's on all the stalls. Come say hi, especially if you're from any of those other countries.
Yes,
Check it out.
Exactly. Right. So we're telling you about this great pool party that we're going to launch December 9th. Next, we want to talk about Ivanka Trump. And we teased this at the top of the show. Ivanka Trump pulls the curtain back on the White House. An amazing interview this week that talks about multiple of things. First, she talks about violence at the border. And the questions for Ivanka dealt with how she felt about it. And she talked about how devastating it was for her, which caught many people by surprise. Then she said, and we're going to show you a video of this, about disagreements with her father. Watch this very quickly.
As a White House advisor, do you advise him on his tone?
He's my father and he's my boss. And one of the reasons that I have such a good relationship with him in both a personal and professional capacity is because I'm incredibly candid with him. But my discussions with him are between me and him. And that makes sense for anyone who has a seat at the table and whose voice is heard. So
you do disagree with him from time to time?
Oh, frequently. And he knows it. He knows exactly where I stand on any issue.
All right. Well, as you can see, many people were surprised that Ivanka Trump indicated that she frequently disagrees with her father. After seeing that, what do y'all think? Do you think Ivanka really disagrees with her father?
I do. I say that, there's a lot of things that I disagree with her on, mainly because she agrees with her father on a lot of things. But I do see that, she has voiced opposition to a lot of the things that he has put forth and that he has said. With regards to the whole email thing, given all the focus on Hillary's email, you would think that Ivanka would stay away from computers, and matter of fact, just write handwritten letters. Because
Snail mail.
I don't understand how it is that she can flip-flop from this public image of being a political advisor, a very smart political advisor to a political novice. But I don't think that she should be locked up for this. I didn't think Hillary should.
Actually, wait, before we
she should
continue
be.
the conversation, I want to show you another video
you just don't
package
cut
that
me
we
off.
have here. Well, and we'll come back to you, but Power makes an interesting point. We have another video clip that I want you to see, specifically about this locking her up remark. Let's take a look at this, of what Ivanka Trump said.
Roll it, Jared.
It has come to light that early in the administration, you used your private email for White House business. Your father had taken Hillary Clinton to task for this. So how did you wind up in a similar situation?
Well, there really is no equivalency. All of my emails that relate to any form of government work, which was mainly scheduling and logistics and managing the fact that I have a home life and a work life, are all part of the public record. They're all stored on the White House system. So everything has been preserved, everything's been archived. There just is no equivalency between the two things.
But your father hammered Hillary Clinton on this, said that it was criminal, she should be locked up.
In my case, all of my emails are on the White House server. There's no intent to circumvent. And there were mass deletions after a subpoena was issued. My emails have not been deleted, nor was there anything of substance, nothing confidential that was within them. So there's no connection between the two things.
So the idea of lock her up doesn't apply to you?
No.
Well, as you can see, Ivanka Trump has very specific opinions to divide herself from the Hillary Clinton situation. Let's continue with you, Power, in terms of your point about the emails.
I was just going to say, I don't think that she should be locked up for that. If anything, maybe we should lock her up to keep her safe from her father.
I want to point out, being locked up can be very safe. A cage is a safe location, just to point out.
Yes. And to your joke, that was exactly what Donald Trump said, that he would date his daughter. So you make a good point. Other thoughts about her disagreeing frequently or lock her up?
One, I agree with her. We all have to have compassion for what's going on at the border. We have to solve it. We have to come together to solve it. However, having compassion does not mean that all parties don't have some accountability and ownership of their own situation and taking actions to own their own situation. So it has to be collaborative. They have to own their piece. We can only do as much as we can. So that's one thing. Second is on the email. That was, well, as she said, it was mostly setting up schedules and stuff with her family. But let's compare it. She didn't have a server. She didn't send classified.
She didn't have Google
She didn't
Calendar,
lie about
apparently.
it. Okay, and she wasn't Secretary of State, a senator, and First Lady who absolutely knows better. And
Okay,
I
so
will
your
tell
point
you-
is it's different.
Also, she's totally First
let me
Lady,
tell you,
because Melania's not.
I
A
work
little
with-
quicker.
I've worked with the DOD, okay? Everybody goes through training. Every email I have to send, I have to classify it one way or the other. There is no friggin' way that woman did not know what she was doing.
Okay.
She always knows. But
All
so,
right,
so
you're
did,
talking about Hillary.
Anyway.
So did Hillary know what she was doing. But
That's
Ivanka,
what I was talking
yeah,
about.
Ivanka knows what she's doing too. She's a very intelligent person. I wonder what human she would be if she did not have Trump as a father. She has the
She
most.
had no clearance at the time.
She has no clearance on what her mentality
This tea
is.
is really good this week,
This
isn't
thing
it?
is really good.
She voices her opinion as a
Okay.
woman who has to be oppressed because she voices literally her opinion by an understated statement of being calm.
The
and
point of the
collected.
conversation is Ivanka really
That's more than
surprised
that.
us. Ivanka really surprised us this week in terms of having some divergence from her father and kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit on the White House. And that's what I thought was so interesting about it. I want to give everybody a heads up. We're getting ready to play a new drinking game in a moment that we're going to do. And as we get set
Yes.
for that in terms of the drinking game, I just want to make a comment. Multiple people are talking about my cough. Thank you very much for expressing support and sympathy for me. I'm doing the best I can in terms of the cold we have. Power got me sick, and it's all.
Hey guys, it gets very cold.
I'm sorry.
It gets cold
I'm
here
only
in
doing it
Florida.
because
We're so sorry that I have to sit next
All
to
right,
him.
so here's what we're going to do. We're playing a new drinking game, brand new tonight, and it's completely different.
Good after Ivanka.
Before I tell you about this drinking game, let me show you what we're going to do. And it's a new product called Gel Shot. Watch this. Okay, well, we're back, and we are going to do this gel shot game. We call this game, and you'll see it in our slide that we're doing, this new game that we're doing is kind of an agree or disagree game, and we call the game I'd Swallow That.
That ain't no game. That ain't no game.
The world gets happy.
Now, we love Gel Shot. And we're going to prove that I'd swallow that. And we're going to ask some questions. And we're going to... There's some jeering going on here at Southern Nights, I would like you to know. All right, so
I've had that here before when I swallow things.
I'm
so
going
it's
to
good.
ask 6 questions. And
Mom.
if you agree, you're going to pick up your shot and open it and do the shot. And if you don't touch your shot, and we'll move on. Our first flavor is going to be Blue Raz. Now, I haven't
How'd
done
I end
these,
up with
so
all the same color?
we're working
blue, I think.
on the blue Raz. Okay.
I swallow a lot more than this.
And there you go. You can find power at www.
All right. Everyone, let's settle down. I'd swallow that. Question number 1. Even well into my adulthood, I love Disney.
Oh, am I in my adulthood yet? I
All right.
think so.
All right.
It's so
Cool.
complicated.
How do we?
What's cool about these shots is they don't have to be refrigerated, and they apparently
Mr. Log Cabin is a
squeeze
pro
right-
over there.
Wait.
I wasn't ready.
I ain't trying to fuck up my lipstick.
I'm sorry, don't.
Yeah, all you have to do is squeeze it.
It just like comes in your mouth so
Really
quickly.
I've heard that before.
You do not expect it to happen.
Okay. All right. Question number 2.
Wait.
And it's going to be candy melon. And that's the orange one, right? Orange.
No,
Candy.
it's the green one.
Oh, it's the green one.
It's the
All
green.
right.
Yeah.
Green one. Candy melon.
Candy melon.
All right. This is the first time we've played this game. We'll be a little more organized next time. All right. Our second I'd swallow that question. I think Donald Trump will not complete his term of office as president.
That was think, not wish.
I'm doing a
What
shot.
year is it
You
again?
drink this.
Going, I don't think
I
so.
will hold your mouth back and make you
2
swallow
terms,
that.
baby. 2 terms.
You
2 terms. Tell me that's not flat top.
Ooh.
I will
That
fight
one
you
bites back a
later.
little, doesn't it?
It does.
You all are so like
All right.
Cutesy. All right.
happy people. I wish I had that happiness.
All right. Question number 3. I'd swallow that. And our color, our shot is peach bum, which is the orangish one. Peach bum. All right. Question 3.
I'm ready.
You can tell I wanted
Please let
to
me
do
say
a lot
yes.
of shots. I enjoy pool parties.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
of course we do.
There's one next Sunday in Wilton Manors at the
still new to
Ramada
pool
Open Bar.
parties. Before I had my surgery, I couldn't go, so I'm
Joe,
still a
you're
newbie.
downing these shots way faster.
You are
than-
so good at this. I can drink a drink, but this is hard.
Well, what
I'm
did-
a tailgate. I'm a
Wait.
tailgater.
He's
Football
downing these
tailgater.
shots because on midterm election eve at the Republican National Committee, what else did you have to do but drink?
This tastes like underage drinking.
All right.
just
Next
Wait.
is Blue Raz. We go back to Blue Raz. Question number 4. I'd swallow that. Even with all of the shit going on, the United States of America is the greatest country on earth.
Amen.
Wait, what's your color?
Even blue.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll drink that.
Well, we're all doing that one.
I'll whatever this is called. I'd swallow that.
I'm doing cleanup. As the good Mexican
America.
at the table, I'm doing cleanup.
Fuck yeah.
I like the blue.
Oh, the Consuela at the table.
No,
You
no,
really
no,
had to
no, no.
stick the gender dig in there too.
All right. Question number 5. I'd swallow that. We are back to candy melon. That's the green one.
Ooh,
all right.
yeah, we like that one.
I have done
That's
all
the
of these, by the way, and I have written this perfectly. All right. Question number 5. I could not live without my phone or tablet for a week.
No.
We did this question once
Yes,
already.
we did.
We did, and the youngest
Call
one
out.
said I could do it.
All right. A lot of people didn't drink on that
Yeah,
one.
y'all
or
three couldn't.
do the shot. Okay. Our last one is peach bum.
Oh, so this is
Our last question.
So I get to double
I
fist this
swallow
one?
that.
In
All
other
right.
words, the peach emoji on your phone, that is the bum.
Question 6. Peach gel shot.
I'm ready.
I think the gay community is accepted by America more than any time today than in history.
Of course.
America.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Let's be thankful.
Well, you've lived through it all, so you should know it. So
Napoleon's a bitch.
I'll swallow
All right.
that too.
just want to be clear. A lot of people have swallowed to me being a bitch before.
There you go, girl.
Let's be
All
right.
right. We welcome our new participant gel shots. Those were delicious. They
were very
good. Loved that. That was great.
They were surprisingly
And we're going to play I'd swallow
mouthfuls.
that. We'll get a little more organized. We promise. First time we've done it, but
tiny
it'll be a
trash
fun. Yeah, we need trash cans and all kinds of things. All right.
Well, here you go. You.
Let's move on. All right. Something interesting happened. We've come out of Thanksgiving. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving? Yes. I talked to Joe in Naples. He was eating and eating. You were in Baltimore, and you were eating and eating.
No, I was not. I had family. Thank you. I love you guys.
You were in Lakeland, and you were eating and eating, or
Eating and eating.
yeah, and you were in Clearwater.
I was promising my white partner that I wouldn't bring up colonization at the Thanksgiving table.
I swear
Until
to God,
dessert, at least.
I was promising my white partner I would. Okay, all right, that's a funny joke. All right, and I went to Sunny Isles. Did you know how many Russians live in Sunny Isles?
Oh
Both
my
of
gosh.
The Trump hotels are there.
Wait, how many are
and
gay?
It's full of Russians.
That was a lot of information.
I'm not kidding you. It is.
How many are gay?
No, there's no gay there at all. All right. So Thanksgiving. Wait, I might have done too many shots. I'm concerned.
We did those kind of fast.
All
There's
right,
three
I
more.
did those fast. No. All right.
You wrote them questions.
On Thanksgiving, what's the biggest event in the United States for Thanksgiving?
Macy's.
The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
it's not
And
eating.
did something gay explode for the first time ever in the 92 years history of the Macy's Parade? Watch this and look what happened.
Taught me is how much people enjoy a show, and so I just wanna dance with you. It's time to
All right, good for you, Macy's and NBC. That was history.
And
because
America.
That had never happened before at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. 54 million people watched those two girls kiss. Public display of affection from
And
the...
buildings burned and things blew
the
up.
world came to an end. Exactly right.
ridiculous.
Exactly right. All right, so the question is, beyond the big deal of the kiss, first off, lesbians kissing.
This is 9/11. That just sounds awful.
And the question is, public displays of affection like that. Is there a double standard for gay and straight?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, tell us what.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's seen in every Disney movie. Considering we've brought up Disney a couple times, the kiss, the magical moment, so to speak, and it's never looked at as anything sexual. It's never looked as anything wrong. But for two girls to kiss, especially two grown women, it was suddenly this huge controversy.
Wait. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. Are you saying even in American straight society, much less gay society, two men kissing is different than two women kissing?
No, two men kissing is worse to
It is
straight
worse.
society.
Okay.
Absolutely,
All right.
way
Okay.
worse.
All right.
But my point being the fact
Two
that they are
women are
grown, they're
sexual.
adults.
I
You know
got
what I
it.
mean? And
Okay.
it was still seen as
Okay.
this huge thing. Whereas you've got Norman Rockwell paintings of little boys and girls kissing, and it's no problem, and it's cute.
Right. Right.
Well, which is its own problem in itself of little boys and girls kissing that we present.
Well, you know, it's interesting to me, and it resonates with me because my partner Tom, this is his first gay relationship, and it was very.
And he's an adult, just to be clear.
Very funny.
Yes. No.
And he was
conversation-wise.
He was. It was really eye-opening to him to realize how people looked at us, and he didn't really get it right away. Why I didn't want to hold hands in public, and I wasn't, cutesy and affectionate like that
Now,
in public.
I'm curious, did he start with you pre-transition or post-transition?
No, post-transition.
So it's always been a male-male relationship?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Other thoughts about PDA?
Well, firstly, I'm offended by the fact that I just wanted to clarify for the audience is upsetting to Erin, so that's a conversation for later. But secondly, we'll get into that. No, it's a lot harder to be a gay on a male-on-male transaction, I think, versus just a male-on-female. There are a lot of times, even in Wilton Manors, the first time I held a
Napoleon's
man's
drunk.
hand is, well, these are like, what is this? Very powerful gel shots, thank you. But no, just even holding hands in Wilton Manors, I did it for the first time. I've lived here for 5 years, longer than anyone here. I did that for the first time 3 weeks ago. It's such a different experience.
Walking on Wilton Drive holding hands,
Yeah.
first time. And how did you
First
feel?
time. I felt like it was odder here than when I was in New York. It was a different experience because there I felt like myself. Here I feel like I'm forced to be this thing that is this gay first experience and everything else is secondary. And it's an odd experience because I've grown up with some understanding that I was gay and that it was a different experience, but I felt at home at New York when I was 16 and I moved there. But here, I feel like I'm supposed to be gay, and that is the only thing that I am, and everything else is secondary.
Well, Napoleon, I have to tell you, and this is probably breaking news to America, but you were among one of the gayest things I've ever seen in my life. So, all right.
So I would like to say, I think that, you know, we've come a long way in our movement as a LGBT community, but we still have miles to go before we sleep. And the fact of the matter is that PDA, among many straights, is when it comes to gays, is looked at like if we are pushing our gayness. Now they will say that, oh, I don't care about, you know, I'm not bigoted, I'm not homophobic or what have you. But you know, they don't have to do that because that's kind of pushing it in our face, not realizing that when they do it, there's no problem. You know, nobody's complaining about them pushing their straightness in everybody else's face, but it's because they are uncomfortable. So we still have a while to go before we can get to the point where we truly have equality, and equality meaning accepting love no matter what race, creed, or orientation.
And if I can build on that real quick, when my partner was coming out to family members of his, one family member in particular, hearing that I was transgender, basically, and mind you, my partner has a son who's 10. Who is just, I adore. And her question was, well, is that appropriate around your son? The question of me existing, just the fact that I'm trans and the fact that I'm in their lives, she immediately was like, well, is that inappropriate?
It's the illustration of his point. We still have a long way to go. All right. Yes. It's interesting. We congratulate Macy's and NBC because they knew exactly that was going to happen, and they made the decision to do that.
And it's in 5-degree weather.
Purposefully
Our next segment is follow-up, and we frequently follow up other stories that have happened in previous shows. This is show number 11, by the way, episode number 11. And we want to follow up 2 topics tonight. Topic number 1 that we want to follow up is Joe Brookman. Now, as you know, 2 weeks ago, Joe, in a discussion about open relationships, took us completely off path and surprised all of us as he explained that in his first relationship in his mid-50s, after marriage and 4 children, he contracted HIV because he was lied to by the first partner that he was involved in. It was a very brave observation. America responded to you in what I thought was a beautiful way. Equally important, I think all of the cast responded to you, and I hope you felt the love that we were expressing back to you. We were very concerned about you. How has the last 2 weeks been for you?
The last 2 weeks, I actually thought there might be some blowback, but I really have only received love and questions about what does it mean, or how have you felt?
Where you're going to die.
Where
you
going to die.
You're not going to.
I'm not going to die. But the biggest thing that I've taken away from a lot of the conversations over the last 2 weeks is that we really still have a long way to go to get rid of the stigma associated with HIV. It's still kind of the horrible thing. People stray away from you. So we really need to go much further, both on stigma, erasing stigma, as well as continue to go forward for cures.
Good.
And erasing fear is really, I think, what it comes down to, because so many people just have that, especially gay people, have that innate fear.
Yes.
We wanted to take a moment of following up on Joe, because one of the things that we talked about is by having the impromptu coming out, you had a new coming out all over again, and potentially a very negative one. And one of the things that we wanted to visit is you're still here.
I'm still here.
And you're still okay.
I'm still okay.
And you're going to be okay tomorrow.
I'm going to be okay tomorrow.
And that's the message here of you facing HIV and other critical issues in your life. Being gay, being a Republican is probably a far greater danger than anything.
That's a way deeper closet, girl.
Exactly. The closet's way deeper for Joe. But Joe, again, We are all in admiration of your bravery.
I do have one other follow-up. Yes, I do have one other follow-up. The last time that we were all together, we played Drinks Drink, and when we played Drinks Drink, I believe it was Drinks Drink, one of the questions was if we thought that CNN would win their lawsuit with the
All
White House.
heads turned.
Oh, but I'm the gay one, but that just happened.
Some of
Okay,
us
let's be clear.
drank, and we were right, and some of us didn't, and we were wrong. Would you like to swallow, bitch?
There you go.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Damn.
First, because the Log Cabin Republican likes gel shots so much.
Absolutely.
As you
And these are
proved
good.
here, right?
They are very.
But
like that you picked
you
the
do
blue,
admit
too.
to
That's
Power's
appropriate.
observation. You were completely wrong.
No.
Oh.
But he does swallow very quickly.
I'd swallow that. Right. Okay. Second thing we want to follow up on is Goi 2.
Oh.
2 weeks ago, we showed you this horrific video game this online game that you play that has flamethrowers and machine guns, and it kills Jews and black people and gay people, etc. That's really not such the news of our follow-up. What was interesting is the follow-up of what happened on YouTube in response. We had the greatest response ever of anything that we've ever done based on Goi 2. And we're showing you a slide right now of just a sampling of the responses. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments. And what's interesting is our little gay show brought out the fascist alt-right.
9-inch gay.
We had no idea that so many of you fascist boys were watching us. So let me give you just a couple of the samples. The hosts haven't seen any of these yet. One said in post, "Good game, needs more Jews."
Oh my gosh, they're so right.
That's it for you. No, they mean that to kill
No,
more
they don't.
Jews.
They mean that because Jews are the saviors of the world.
No. Another comment said,
Marvel, come on.
the game didn't give me nightmares, but that Mohawk alien sure did.
It better give you nightmares.
There was another post, and I'm not kidding you, there are hundreds and hundreds of these. It went on
My
for
bedtime reading material tonight.
day after day after day. Another one said, this one's about you, dude.
Oh, let's listen.
Poor
Everyone.
Aryan brother in red suspenders. How did he get there? What went wrong? Greg Johnson, alt-right homosexual, needs to reach out and save him. May God have mercy on your soul.
That's all right speak for a little white boy, by the way.
Ist ein Arschloch.
Yes, right. Anyway, to all of our Aryan fascist
Oh my
brotherhood that's watching It's Happening Out, we're here every Thursday night at 8 o'clock.
Thanks for the exposure, girl.
And to all our Aryan
That's very
fascists
upsetting.
that are watching us, just let it be known that we really thank you so much for tuning in and for giving us life. But really, as far as you're concerned, we really don't give a damn about people whose parents are siblings. Go deep throat so you can go deep throat a chainsaw, and I'm so glad that my mohawk gave you my fucking nightmare.
That's right. All right.
Except for me, come save me. I can be found here in Fort Lauderdale. Just make sure that you share this post with all of your friends.
All right. So that's our follow-up on
Find
Goi
him.
2.
Don't come looking for me, girl.
The last thing we're going to do
That's my
tonight
brother, it's
is
scary.
one more game. And we're going to play a real quick game that I like a lot. It's called My Favorite New Thing. And we give our host an opportunity to tell us in the past week, and we've been off for hiatus for Thanksgiving, the favorite thing that they had in the last week or the last 2 weeks in this instance. So somebody tell me their favorite new thing.
My new favorite thing is a children's book, actually, believe it or not. It's called Super Princess Saves the Night. And it's by Elena Popova.
Calm down. Calm down.
They're there. It is about a non-binary child, and it shows the child is the princess at night, child by day, and she saves her family and her puppy and shows them that they don't have to be afraid of what happens in the dark, basically, and the magical things
It's
that
a
happen.
child book for children.
Yes, and then the follow-up to that is that her parents then asked to meet Super Princess and show her that she doesn't have anything to be afraid of, to be herself and I'm gonna cry a little bit. It's adorable.
Awesome.
And
Very
all
nice.
of the proceeds, you can find the link on my page. All of the proceeds benefit the Trans Women of Color Collective, which is a global organization that uplifts trans people of color.
Excellent. Let's give that plug one more time. Trans Women
Trans
of
Women
Color.
of Color Collective.
Very good.
TWOCC.
Yeah, very good. Tell me something else, my favorite new thing.
Oh my God, I knew you were going to take that. I had that written down first, and I changed it because, firstly, Princess Knight is a synonym that doesn't make sense connected. It's fine. I'm so happy that you said that. So my new favorite thing this week is, I believe her name is Cloud, who is an X-Man who has an interchangeable gender, who can be male or female. And what I learned from this week is that that is not only the keysake to what made Bobby Iceman the gay representative of the X-Men, even though they're all, the X-Men and their representation of gay. But Cloud is one of the first people that was both male and female that confused what he was and his sexuality. And I have been researching this character forever. And what that led me to was also just general animal verse of Spider-Ham and the entire team of
How
the
did I never
Animorphs.
know this character existed? I was even like,
wait,
Stan Lee just
Cloud
died.
or
How do we have a
Spider-Ham?
new Cloud?
Oh my gosh! Because you're used to like the 10-inch or 10-feet sword, and different. Okay, I'm getting measurement oriented.
Yes, I'm geeking out right now.
does-
I look confused and scared.
To everyone in America,
like a
again,
nerd
we
fest
thank
up
you.
in here.
I'm
We
sorry,
thank you
but-
for your weekly contributions to teach Napoleon English. And we
English?
have an
No,
English.
no, no.
I'm the translator, by the way.
If you speak nerd, you understand
All
the
right.
animal verses,
All right,
or
my-
the horse that Supergirl dated.
We got it. Thank you. My
where
favorite
you
new
lost me.
things. Anything else?
where you lost me.
Anybody else had anything this week?
Well, my favorite new thing actually is I'm actually gonna say two. First, I went for the first time today to try out this place that everybody keeps talking about, New York Grilled Cheese.
I totally ordered dinner from there. It's waiting at the hotel room for me.
I've never been there before, and I sat down, and I believe her name was Brooke Logan. Waited on me, and I ordered the meat packing district.
Of course you did.
And because I'll swallow that. And it was just unctuous and delicious, just flavor profile.
Yeah, when you come to Welton Manors and you come to the Welton
Absolutely
Drive,
fabulous.
you've got to come to.
And
New
they've
York.
even got a vegan one, which I ordered and is totally waiting for me. So I'm excited to
that's
taste
great.
it.
And my second,
you got two.
my favorite new thing,
again,
yes,
but-
is our new venue, Southern Nights.
Very nice. We love Southern Nights. Joe, did you have anything this week?
I do. I got my new DeWalt table and miter saws, and so I'm really excited about that.
What is a
does that
DeWalt table saw? What does that
Joyce
mean?
DeWitt?
DeWalt is a brand,
Okay.
and it's a table saw for cutting wood.
You know you're gay, right? You have people do that for you. That's what gay men do.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh,
exactly.
oh, okay. Well,
And you're that guy
Preferably
for
hot,
me.
shirtless ones.
as long as he's naked and over at the house, that's fine.
All
That sounds like
all
a
right,
safety
all right.
hazard.
So those are our favorite new things
Worth it.
for our host this week. The last thing that we want to do is to tell you about our new host. Our new host is Southern Nights. We want to remind you that Southern Nights, great club here in Welton Manors, right on the Welton Drive. They're also legendary in Orlando and in Ybor City, in Tampa on 7th Avenue in the gay neighborhood in Tampa. So it's really kind of a chain. It's kind of like McDonald's.
Yeah, but all
for gay bars.
All legs, no
Or Chick-fil-A.
dairy.
Yes, or not Chick-fil-A, no. We thank Southern Nights. Before we show you this about Southern Nights, we want to take an opportunity. We were with Drink on Welton Drive, a smaller venue than this. They were with us for the first 10 weeks, and we want to thank them so much
Very
for what
much.
they did.
Especially
They really absolutely were critical and bought into the idea that gay culture and a talk show live in a bar could work in the first place. We especially, in addition to thanking Drink, want to thank David Ardelian. He is the manager, owner there. He did an absolute awesome job We love David Ardelan, and we thank Drink for everything that they did.
And Al will swallow that, so be ready to go.
No, he's got a partner. So, we're here at Southern Nights, and we'd like you to see this about Southern. So we thank Southern Nights as our new home for It's Happening Out. We'll be here every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we hope you'll share us and join us at America's most popular live gay talk show. Now, before we close tonight, we're out of Thanksgiving. We're getting ready for the holiday season. We want to take an opportunity. I just want to say that I've been watching it week after week. I want to do a special shout out to the production staff. We sit here in front and take all of the gratitude of the credit. But there is a really great team behind this show, and I want to call them out. Darren, who is our executive producer, Jared, who is our director, Steve, who is our camera and light director, Frank, who is our creative designer, David, who does basically everything for everything, and Chris, who is our online host that is talking to you right now. We want to thank all of them because they work tirelessly.
And Alex,
who's
who
in
is
Rome,
also
but still alive.
in Rome, but usually our
light
amazing
and
sound guy.
and mostly on sound, who is in Italy right now. I have to tell you, I hope you noticed in this show tonight, I honestly do not know a show in America, in the gay community, that has so much technical skill as what you've seen in this show. In video, slides, messaging, and talk. So, it's what makes It's Happening Out the most popular gay live talk show in America. So, we want to say goodnight to you, and on behalf of my friend Power Infinity.
Good night, children.
And Aaron Phoenix.
Good night, gender fuckers.
And Napoleon Plays.
Good night, my friend Ellen DeGeneres.
And Joe Brookman.
Love you, family.
And I'm Al Ferguson, and I want to tell you again, and it's something we'll say all the way to the March of Stonewall. If gay community is important to you, it's happening out. Good night, America.
Good night.